Good afternoon, collectors and friends. Welcome to Leighton's Loft. Thank you very much for joining us today.
I love these conversations that start out with "it's crazy." That's the only pre-show conversation we've had. You know, it's crazy, Lou. Are we live yet?
It is crazy, and the reason why, at the very least, is because the National is next week.
Yes.
But before, before we kind of get into, this or that, sometimes I forget. So I want to make sure that to our loyal viewers and the folks who've been watching us potentially even for several years in some cases. What's up, Todd, Ken, Preston, Chris? Thanks for joining us today, Cuff Daddy. I wanted to thank you all. Make sure you stay tuned. Next week, I am going to do, Lou, I'm hoping to coordinate with you. I don't know if it'll be the same time.
Okay.
Even if it's only for 20 minutes. I would like to do a Loft from the National.
Nice.
We'll do it from my phone.
Yep.
But I think it'd be really fun to do it from the floor from the National.
Oh, absolutely. Let's pull it off.
Hey, Bill. So, Bill, I'll be dropping you a line this afternoon. Bill and I are working on potentially a very big deal of vintage cards. So I'll keep everyone posted about that. What's up, Joe? What's going on, Ed? Hey, Nick. So to start off with, make sure if you are not going to be going to the National, to please follow me on social media. It's going to be a lot of fun. It'll be under Leighton Sheldon on Instagram. Probably a combination of that, just collecting vintage breaks. I don't really do too much with Facebook these days, but I guess it's possible we might do a Facebook Live. But anyway, Lou, we'll try to hook up. I'll talk to you. We'll try to keep it to Wednesday to keep it easy.
Yep.
But I'm hoping we have a surprise guest because there's some people that'll be rolling through town, some very famous vintage breakomaniacs that we're hoping we can get one or two on the show. I think that'd be really cool.
Oh, we'll work it out.
Great. So let's start off with this. Sometimes I don't announce the prizes till a little bit later. Well, J5 just closed a deal from a local gentleman. And, let's just call it a typical 50s and 60s collection. Lots of stars and Hall of Famers. So we just chose one to kind of get on here. You can see it's a nice mid-grade example. It's a 61 Topps Al Kaline. I know our buddy Jim is from Detroit, as well as our friend Jason, Detroit here as well. So we're going to give this away on the show today. This is going to be first place in Leighton's Loft participation promo. And it's a really nice first place. Second prize will be a spot in our 1969 Topps baseball set break. And third place will be a BAM spot in our big Breakomaniacs appreciation promo ending next Sunday night, which is the final night of the National.
All right.
All right, folks. So I've been putting out some content on social media, and I figured that since we have a little bit of a longer form here to talk about things, that it'd be great to talk about the National today, Lou.
Yes. I'm looking forward to it.
So far, I've shared a few different tips that have ranged from granola bars and pistachios in terms of bringing dry foods as if you're going to be stuck there for a long time. And then, for example, people have asked me like, hey, what do dealers take? What do you take, Leighton, as currency? So I'll take cash. I'll take PayPal. As long as it's confirmed. I'll take a check if I know you.
Yeah.
So if I don't know you, if it's under $100, I would just take a check and hope for the best that you weren't scamming me. And I guess I probably shouldn't be announcing this, Lou. We're going to get people all across the world. Well, it looks like Leighton's good for about $90. Sorry, this is the way my deranged mind thinks, Lou. Anyway, even as far as cash, if you're thinking about taking out 5 figures or more, so $10,000 or more from the bank, even if it's for personal use, what I mean is if you're going to go on a camping trip, a Vegas trip with the boys, a golfing trip, I can tell you that if you want to take out $10,000 or more, you might run into a problem in terms of the cash that the bank actually has on hand. And two, which is more likely, even if they have it, but they are kind of mad at you or pissy or they don't have large bills, they might give you like $10,000 in 20s, or in 5s and 10s, and that's just brutal. I'm telling you, it's not good. Of course, I'd rather have the money than not, but I don't want to have small bills. That's for sure.
Right.
So that was one of my tips I shared on Instagram. Was making sure you call your bank, about a week early if you're looking to take out some denomination of $10,000 or more in cash for the convention. And something else I talked about, I believe, I don't know if this is on a podcast, Lou, or if it was something I did on an Instagram short, but as far as safety goes, now I think it's great that folks are using these various cases from different manufacturers in the hobby that fit your graded cards ever so neatly, right?
Right.
But keep in mind, if you're traveling somewhere and you don't feel safe, and someone knows there might be expensive cards in your such and such case, I'm not, trying to name anyone on purpose. Just
See,
have your wits about you.
Todd's scamming you already. He said, "Can I write $90 checks?"
I guess you could. We probably have to make sure we limit it to one per person.
Yeah.
Seeing as how I'm getting fried right now, I'm getting people like, oh, looks like I found an extra $1,800 for the National. This is Todd writing in. Can I do $29 checks? I'll get in my credit union. I don't know much about credit unions. Do you, Lou?
I'm a member of a credit union. Not that I've ever withdrawn $10,000 from my credit union, but
once again, though, credit union's not a bank, but it's not a loan shark. It's an institution.
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, listen, at the end of the day, right, $10,000, doesn't matter what you're doing, is my point, is a fair amount of money.
Yeah.
But I know from experience, if you want to take out $5,000, they've never given me an issue about that. But as soon as you get to $10,000 or more, and I feel like even if they don't have a problem, they'll literally just go to me, they pause for a good 3 or 4 seconds, and they'll say, "Did you call ahead?" And now I'll just call their bluff. I'm like, yeah. They're like, "Who'd you talk to?" "Mikey." "Who was that?" "Mikey." "Yeah." "Did you say Mikey?" "Yeah, I said whoever you think is the person I was supposed to call."
That's right.
What's going on, Dennis? Glad you're joining us today. Anyway, we have a really fun participation promo. Let's get back to the National for a minute. Did talk about snacks. We are going to talk about some other fun tips, I guess, in the next few minutes here. Something to really keep in mind is, take this from a vet. The National is going to go a lot faster than you think.
Yeah.
So whether it be you have one day, you have a couple days, or you have 7 days full, like this insane lunatic right here. I remember thinking this every year. You get there on the Sunday or Monday, and you're like, "Wait, don't sweat it, bud." I'm talking to myself. This is how crazy I am. There's plenty of time to say hi to this person, to get a steak sandwich or a steak from this place. And then you look up, you're like, "It's Wednesday afternoon. Huh, that was a really busy first few days. That's no problem." And you go back to your room, and this inevitably happens, I think, to the best of us, whether it be on vacations or something you're excited about. But if it's a long, drawn out, week or 10-day vacation, longer drawn out week or 10-day, big convention like this where you're working hard. "Oh, no, guys, I'll meet you downstairs in a minute." Guys have been calling me for 27 minutes in a row. Like, "Leighton, where are you? In the bathroom?" "No, I fell asleep." Like, yeah, I'm exhausted. "Guys, I'm just going up to change real quick, put on deodorant." And, 32 minutes later, they're like, "I guess we got to go to dinner without him because we're starving." No, Reisky, I'm trying to go a little bit healthier than the Swedish fish. On the Sunday of the National, I'm sure, I'll get some ice cream or something like that. But, try to keep myself fit, not just in general, but for the National in particular. I remember a couple of years ago, I walked about 35 or 36 miles. I don't think I'll quite reach that this year, but I do plan to walk a lot. It's the biggest National ever. So if you are inclined to check out a National Sports Collectors Convention, then this is the year to do it. It's in Chicago. I'm staying locally. I plan to meet up with the likes of Jim Ector, Chris Coe, and a few others. So if you're going and you want to meet up with myself or some of my other team members, whether it be at the convention for a drink or trading and such, please drop me a line. You can email me direct, leighton@justcollect.com. You can DM me. I'm hoping by next week, I'm going to be telling you about some monumental deal that I'm going to be doing with Bill Zeltner for some very, very cool vintage graded baseball.
Nice.
Oh, this is interesting. So Mike is saying, and as a person that goes camping, I ain't taking no $10,000 loan.
This is the same thought I had, Mike.
Okay, fair.
I'm in a bank and someone's telling me I need $10,000 to go camping. I'm gonna be a little suspect of that.
Yeah, no, listen, that makes a lot of sense. Something else that I'll be talking about later this week is, making sure that even if you don't want to sell them, bring a handful of cards, unless you're just truly someone who's never sold or traded a card, in which case I'm not trying to push you over the edge. But in terms of not just thinning your own hoard of cards or thinning your own herd, however you want to say it or interpret it. You may not be in that mode, in that mindset, Lou, that you want to sell. But I can tell you, if you are worried about if you will reach your budget or exceed it as a collector, you will have no problem reaching that budget.
Yeah.
So my point is, it's that last day of the convention. It's your last hour. And, you know, we've all been there, right? You're just going home like, wait a minute, what's that over there? And you don't say anything to anyone. You pretend you don't really care. Oh, hey, how you doing, sir? You know, and like you don't even want to, you know, pretend you're in a rush.
Yeah.
You know, it's just curious. Is you know, how much is that? He's like, oh, that old thing. Oh, yeah, you know, that old thing. You know, how much is that? And like, by the way, he's the slowest, or she's the slowest person ever. They take it out of the case at the speed I'm doing right now.
Yep.
Meanwhile, you're trying to play it cool. Before he could even finish, you know that you'd buy it.
Yep.
Well, it looks like about, I think it says 120. Okay, I would buy that. Well, son, I didn't finish telling you how much it was. No, I understand. 120. Cheryl, how much does this say? Sir, I don't care. I don't give a shit. If it's 120, if it's 160, this is my final purchase of the effing National, and I'd like to go home with it. Oh, you should have said you were in a rush.
Then 200.
195 plus tax. So the joking aside, you may not have any money for that card.
Right.
That's what I was trying to get to. I was trying to have some fun. But you might see that card, you go into your wallet, right? You got like the remnants of a tissue, some sort of like, you don't know why you have a Q-tip, right? Yep. You have 2 coins. And by the way, no one uses coins anymore. So you have no idea why they're in there. And like you have, for me, I have like a to-do list usually on a piece of paper. So I have that. Like, what? I don't have anything else left. I can't give them any money. So try to bring a few extra cards with you. And you'll be happier for it, because even if you go home with them, unless you're someone who's going to be weighed down by 3 or 4 or a half dozen cards, bring them with you. It's a few $100, a few $1,000. You'll be happier that you did. And if it comes down to when you have no money left at the end, especially if you're a true hobbyist, there's very few people are going to say to you, you know, the card's $100. You know, I'm only doing cash today. I would, if I were you guys and I was at the National and I was a patron, a customer, I would say, bud, it's the last day of the National. It's a $100 card. I'm out of money. See all the people around here, all your friends, they took it all. I would have fun with it. So what I'm willing to do is I'm making it up. It's a $125 card. I'll give you $200 a trade. I'd always have one increment if possible. If the guy says, no, you know, it's crazy. You know, Cheryl will never go for it. All right, sir, I'll tell you what. I got a $250 such and such, right? Let me give it to you. I want to go home with this card. I've always loved this, whatever, 58 All-Star Stand Usual. And the guy's like, I think Cheryl would be okay with that. I think Cheryl would be okay with that too. And all of a sudden you get to go home with a card, even though you had no money left. Plus you get to tell your friends a story, which is really funny as shit.
Right. Yep. Keep your options open, right?
Absolutely. Oh, wow. Congratulations. Jim Brown was sweet, Raisky. Yeah, there you go. So Mike Dorr is sharing something similar. He walked away with a 53 Bowman color Pee Wee Reese PSA 1, which, by the way, no matter what the condition, is still one of the best looking cards, you know, in the hobby. He had a couple cards to trade away and made his sad last $50 more attractive. Exactly. And by the way, you know, I have an 8-year-old son, Crosby. If you haven't known, you know, I mentioned him a couple times on the show. Listen, if you don't have a kid, borrow someone else's. It works. But if you can't read between the lines here, I'm being a little, you know, facetious. But
I'm gonna say that's a little cold, but yeah.
You know, here's
Sir,
the
can
thing,
I borrow
right?
you, kid?
I'm not stupid. If my son was just a little bit older and really cared about coming to the National, I'm thinking I'm saving 1.5 to 4.5 points easy.
Yep.
Right. Especially if I'm paying cash. The combination of cash and cuteness, there's no way, because I'm not even going to offer. I'm just going to give it to him. Wait,
it's for my son.
They're gonna know it's not for him, but that's the point. So you know, as Mike said, he walked away with a really cool Pee Wee Reese. It is one of my favorite cards. And you could do the same for yourself. It could be $50, it could be a few $100s, it could be for a ticket, like my buddy Darren Ravel. If you're going to the National, by the way, and you're looking for tickets, different tickets, not just your regular run-of-the-mill. And the Larson Perfect Game ticket's great, but been there, done that. You're looking for some really one-of-a-kind stuff, come by our booth. I'll be set up with Darren. Darren will only be there for a few days. See, this is smart. By the way, raise money for your national coffers. Right. You could now, you're not even selling. I like this. You're loaning. Or, here's the thing. My kids are doing consulting. And as I'm learning about taxes and this and that, Crosby can work for the shop a little bit. Let your son or your daughter work for but you should be setting up an LLC if you're a serious collector, I believe, because you could write off trips like this to the National. It's important to do that. Tom just said Crosby could give you the look and bam, the mantel's yours 50% off. I don't know 50% off, but I'm pretty sure that we'd be able to do something.
You'd have him patrolling for 50% off.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, you're right, Mike. Absolutely. Well, the kids are doing consulting. But, nonetheless, when you go to the National, bring some extra stuff. I think it'll serve you well. And if you bring it home, no big deal. I did mention, I was joking around, but I was being absolutely serious about it as we talk about it now. Even if you're someone who's going there for a couple days, you will be really disappointed, not just the food selection on premises, but the cost of it, the quality. And I've said this before, it's really disappointing from the consumer, from the dealer who's paying all the money to be there and set up, who wants to do the sales, right? You're like, man, dude, I just waited online for 42 minutes. I had to get a hot dog. And, some people are upset about the cost of it. Other people aren't. But then who everyone universally is upset when about $1.15 later, you're like, ooh. Don't nobody go into the bathroom for about 35 to 45 minutes. Yeah. So you got to be careful. So bring some healthier snacks for yourself. There's plenty of great restaurants around, like Gibson's, Morton's.
So many great food options.
There is. But Lou, I get this, right? If you're at the convention, you may not want to leave it to go to, Gibson's every day, like I hope to do for lunch.
Yep, I understand. But, save that money and go get a good meal. But, bring some good snacks and help you, keep you healthy, keep you happy.
Yeah, I eat a lot of protein, even at, Gibson's across the street. I think I remember they have like great crab cakes and sliders we'll get with no roll, just so it doesn't weigh me down. Because I take it seriously, right? I don't want to become sluggish in the middle of the day and feel like I need a nap.
I don't know, Tom. I don't know if that qualifies, Tom.
I'm not sure, but by the way, we're taking donations. So at our booth, if you have snacks, you have suggestions, but actually not really, because I'll get a big bag of Swedish fish and I'll just eat the whole thing. So I don't know how much beers are. I really don't drink beers that much. I would drink more like a cocktail, I would say, or wine, but I don't really drink at the conventions. Maybe the final day I would have one.
How about snacks and water? Is it okay to bring in snacks and water? I guess no one
You can, but I don't think you can resell it.
Yeah.
But my buddy from Auction Report's given away, I myself have done this where we've had water cooler, we've got, let's say 3 or 4 jugs for the week, and people are like, what is this? Are you giving this away? Matter of fact, sir, we are. Would you like some water? Oh, great.
Todd changed his profile picture mid-show, I think. Is that what happened, Todd? Because I don't think that's the profile picture you started with.
Swiss rolls. Now those are solid. I like them frozen, but they're definitely not good for you.
Swiss rolls, yeah.
Yeah, I think they're Little Debbie snacks. Those are great. So anyway, as a reminder, the big event for Vintage Breaks is ending next Sunday. Let me just clarify the date. It is next Sunday, the 30th. July 30th, I believe at 11 o'clock Eastern time. I will be here for it. I'm flying back the final day of the National a little bit earlier. I'll be at the National first thing in the morning, but I fly out early to mid-afternoon so I could be here for the final event and the final night. Really looking forward to that. We're hoping to break our 1933 Gaudy set. We're actually getting close on our 2003 Topps Chrome Black refractor set break featuring the LeBron rookie PSA 9. And the last thing I wanted to make sure that as our community, it's not too late to reach out to me if you want to sell cards because you want to participate at the National to buy cards from other dealers, because you might want to participate in our breaks. You want to do it for some break credit. because you want to do it for some other reason that had nothing to do with anything else that I just mentioned, that's fine as well. I just wanted to let you know that we're working hard. And if you contact us the next few days, we'll do our best to get back to you before we leave for the convention. So that way, if you want break credit, if you want cash, if you want trade something out of our store, etc., and you'd be heartbroken if it's sold at the National, drop me a line, email me directly at Leighton, Leighton at justcollect.com, or you can DM me on Instagram or Facebook. Thanks for tuning in to Leighton's Loft today, everybody. Make sure you tune in next week. It's going to be a good one, live from the National Sports Collectors Convention.